Hey guys, how's it going? Just here doing another message today, just coming on here. I'm actually in my son's room today and gonna do a video here because it's kind of hard to do one in my car when the sun's hitting it, it makes my phone hot. So I thought I'd come in here and try here, make sure I have a good connection too. So I'm going to be doing a message today regarding um, standing firm in your faith with Him, standing your ground. And I'm going to do that today. And I wanted to come in here and do a message for you. I know my last video was more of an emotional type video I did, and it's not nothing like that. It's more of a message today, and we're going to talk about that. But yeah, I'm here, and this used to be my room, so I gave it to my son, and now he's using this room now until we can find a bigger place, which probably will be in the future. We don't know yet. But anyway, I wanted to come in here and do this message. It's regarding again that. I have 6 scriptures today I want to go over and discuss how important it is for us to stand firm in our walk, because I know a lot of people are talking about, going to another country and things like that. And again, I'm going to repeat what I said before. If you're not absolutely 100% sure and 100% confirmed that you need to go to another country to do ministry or whatever, then you're pretty much just going to be going into another Egypt, and you end up with the worst scenario, worst situation. So that's what I want to talk about today. I just wanted to come on here and say hello to everybody, see how everybody's doing. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a grand rising, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at watching this. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Like I said, I have 6 scriptures I'm going to go over. And the first one I'm going to go to is actually in Hebrews. So I'm going to go ahead and start in Hebrews today, all right? So for those of you who want to write these down or want to go ahead and follow along, you can. I'll be reading again from the Magalan, which is what I choose to read. The first one is going to be Hebrews 10, chapter 10, verses 19 through 39. So let's go there. I'm going to start there today. So let's go to Hebrews 10. All right, so we're going to start in verse 19. So if you guys want to follow along, it'll be in verse 19. Okay. So it says, starting in Hebrews 10, verse 19, it says, "So brothers, having boldness to enter into the set apart place by the blood of Yahushua, by a new and living way which he instituted for us through the veil, that is his flesh, and having a high priest over the house of Elohim, let us draw near with a true heart and completeness of belief." In other words, a heart of faith. In other words, for belief is faith. "Having our hearts sprinkled from a wicked conscience and our bodies washed with clean water. Let us hold fast the confession of our expectation without yielding, for he who promised is trustworthy. And let us be concerned for one another in order to stir up love and good works." So we should have more compassion, more love for one another as believers. And it says here, verse 25, I believe we're in verse 20, 25. "Not forsake the assembling of ourselves together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging, and so much more as you see the day is coming near." So we need to encourage one another. We need to be going, lifting up one another, stand firm in our faith, okay? Because we know the day is coming for his return. "For if we sin purposely after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a slaughter offering for sins, but some fearsome anticipation of judgment and fierce fire which is about to consume the opponents. Anyone who has disregarded the Torah of Mashah dies without compassion on the witness of 2 or 3 witnesses. How much worse punishment do you think shall be deserved who has trampled the Son of Elohim underfoot, counted the blood of the covenant by which he was set apart as common, and insulted the spirit of favor? For we know him who has said, 'Vengeance is mine.'" We know that his vengeance is his, right? So we know that. He says, I shall repay, says Yahuah. And again, Yahuah shall judge his people. He's going to judge us as well as he judges the world. He's going to judge us as well. His own set apart. We're going to be judged as well. So that's why I say, when you stand firm your ground, not worry about what man's going to do to you. You need to more be right with him, because we're going to be judged as well, not just the ones who are not of Yahuah. So he says that clearly. So we need to stand firm. And then let's see here. I believe that was it. Okay, so that was Hebrews 10:19 through 29. So we'll continue with the next verse. Next scripture I have is Galatians 3. It's starting Galatians 3. So we're going to go ahead and go there. All right, so in Galatians 3, we're going to start in chapter, let's see. Actually, guys, let me go back to Hebrews. I actually did not finish that one. I apologize for that. Let me go back to Hebrews. I do apologize for that. That's actually up to 39. So let's go back where we continued. I do apologize for that. Let's go back to that. Okay, so again, in Hebrews 10, we left off on 30. It says, For we know him who has said, Vengeance is mine. I shall repay, says Yahuah. And again, Yahuah shall judge his people. Again, so he's going to judge us as well, right? So then let's go to 31. It is fearsome to fall into the hands of the living Elohim. But remember the former days when, after you were enlightened, you endured a great struggle with sufferings, which we do. A lot of us struggle when we are standing our ground. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through trials. We're going to go through all that. So let's continue with that. On the one hand, you were exposed to reproaches and pressures, and on the other hand, you became sharers with those who were so treated. For you sympathized with me in my change, and you accepted with joy the seizure of your possessions, knowing that you have a better and lasting possessions of yourselves in the Shamayim. And here's the key point. Do not then lose your boldness. We have to have our boldness when we stand firm. We have to have that boldness, which has great reward, it says. So if you stand firm in your boldness and hold your ground, you will have a reward, according to this. It says, For you have a need of endurance, so that when you have done the desire of Elohim, you receive the promise. He will fulfill the promises that he gave us, that he promised us in the beginning. It says, now here it says, For yet a little while, he who is coming shall come and shall not delay. It says, but here's the key point, but the righteous shall live by belief or faith. But if anyone draws back, my being has no pleasure in him. But we are not of those who draw back to destruction, but of belief to preservation of life. So in other words, he says those who are righteous shall live by faith or belief. Okay, that's what we need to stick with. We need to stick by that and not to let someone else give us any type of distractions to keep us away from our faith. Okay, so that was actually Hebrews 10:19 through 39. Okay, so I kind of short us a little bit there, and that's why I went back to complete that. Now we'll go to Galatians 3. Okay, so let's go to Galatians 3. Okay, so in Galatians 3, we're going to do 10 through 29. So we'll go from 10 and then it'll go through the rest of that chapter. So we'll do that. All right, so let's go to this start in 10. It says, For as many as are of works of law under the curse, for it has been written, Cursed is everyone who does not continue in all that has been written in the book of the Torah, due to them. And that no one is declared right by law before Elohim is cleared for. The righteous shall live by belief. Again, it repeats itself. So we need to continue to live by faith in the struggles that we're going through and to stand firm in our walk. It says, and then the law is not of belief, but the man who does them shall live by them. Okay, so if we follow his ways and follow his commands, we have to live by them as well. Messiah redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. For it has been written, cursed is everyone who hangs upon a tree. In order that the blessing of Abraham might come upon the nations in Messiah, Yahusha, to receive the promise of the Spirit through belief. Brothers, as a man I say it, a covenant, even though it is man's, yet if it is confirmed, no one else says it aside or adds to it. But the promises were spoken to Abraham, okay, and to his seed. Not seeds, his seed, okay, singular, okay. It says not to his seeds as many, but as of one, and to your seed who is Mashiach. Now this I say, Torah that came 430 years later does not annul a covenant previously confirmed by Elohim in Mashiach, so as to do away with the promise. Yeah, so there was nothing. It was never abolished. The law was never abolished or anything like that. It still stands today. A lot of those Christian churches teach that it's been abolished. No, it has not, because he never changes. Yahuah never changes. So this still stands still today. Okay. It says, why then the Torah? It was added because of transgressions, or it was added because of sin. It says, until the seed should come to whom the promise was made, it was ordained through messengers in the hand of a mediator. The mediator, however, is not of one, but Elohim is one. It is the Torah then against the promise of, then is the Torah then against the promise of Elohim. Let it not be. For if the law had been given, then that was able to make alive. Truly, righteousness would have been by the law. Okay, let's go to 22. But the scriptures had shut up all mankind under sin, that the promise by belief in Yahushua HaMashiach might be given to those who believe. To those who believe. It doesn't say a specific type of, like one type of people. It says whoever believes. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what race you are, where you're from. If you believe in that, then it will come to you. It will be, a promise will be fulfilled. Okay, and it says, might be given to those who believe. Let's go to 23. But before belief came, we were being guarded under the Torah, having been shut up for the belief being about to be revealed. Therefore, the instruction became our trainer onto Messiah in order to declare right by belief. Again, belief is another word for faith. Then it says in 25, and after belief has come, we are no longer under a trainer, for you are all sons of Elohim through belief in Mashiach Yahusha. Okay, what is that saying? We are all sons and daughters of his for those who believe in Yahusha. Okay, that's exactly what we do. Once we believe that, we have to stand firm on that. Okay, not to doubt that. If you are a believer in Yahushua HaMashiach, you are sons or daughters of him. Plain and simple. It says that right here. For as many of you as were immersed into Messiah have put on Messiah. There is no Hebrew nor Greek. There is no slave nor free. There is not male or female. For you are all in one Messiah Yahusha. So it doesn't matter what you are. Okay? It doesn't matter who you are. As long as you are a believer in Yahushua HaMashiach and you stand firm in your faith, you are a son or daughter of him. Okay? This thing with the race, okay, it doesn't bother me at all. You know, that's why there's a lot of this going around where a lot of people were saying only one race is all 12 tribes, which I still don't believe. You know, I believe, yeah, some of you are one tribe, another, and so and so. But he just says here, anyone. It doesn't matter if you're Greek, Hebrew, slave. Doesn't matter if you're male, female. It's because you're all. It says here, for you are all in one in Messiah. Okay, we are all in one in Messiah. It says, and if you are in one of Messiah, then you are the seed of Abraham and heirs according to the promise. I'll read it again. If you are of Messiah, then you are a seed of Abraham and heirs according to the promise. Okay? And heirs according to the promise. That's what he's saying here. All right. So that's Galatians 3. Okay? That's what I wanted to get across. Now, let's go to Isaiah 41. Or Yashahu, Isaiah 41. And we're starting in verse 8 through 20. Okay, it starts off, but you, Yashrael, are my servant, Yahuah, whom I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, my friend. We just said that in the previous one. It says, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth and called from its farthest parts and said to you, you are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. Here's another key point. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not look around, for I am your Elohim. In other words, don't focus on anything else. Focus on him. Stand firm on your ground when it comes to that. He says that in there. Do not look around. For I am your Elohim. I shall strengthen you. I shall also help you. I shall also uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness. See, all those who are raged against you are ashamed and blushed. They are as non-existent, and the men who strive with you perish. You seek them, but do not find them. Those who struggle with you, those who fight you, are non-existent as nothing, in other words. For I, Yahuah your Elohim, am holding you your right hand, saying to you, do not fear, I shall help you. Do not fear, you wormed Yaakov, you men of Yashrael, I shall help you, declares Yahuah and your Redeemer, the set apart one of Yashrael. In other words, focus on him. Stand firm in your faith with him. No matter what you go through, stand firm on him. Stand your ground and focus on him. Do not turn to man. Let's go to 15. See, I shall make you into new threshing sledge with sharp teeth. Let you thresh mountains and beat them small, and make hills like shaft. You winnow them, you winds lift them up, and the whirlwind scatters them. But you rejoice in Yahuah and boast in the set apart one of Yashrael. I'll repeat that. I'll repeat it. It says, do not fear, you worm Yaakov, you men of Yashrael. I shall help you, declares Yahuah, and your Redeemer, the set apart one of Yashrael. That's exactly what he's talking about. He is saying he's going to help you. He's going to guide you. He's going to be with you. Do not look around for anything else or anyone else. It says that on here. He says, do not fear. I shall help you. For I am your Elohim. I am holding your right hand. He's saying that. In other words, he's always with us. He's always with you. No matter what you go through, you're not alone. None of us are alone. He is with us at all times. Okay, let's go to 17. When the poor needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongues have failed for thirst, I, Yahuah, do answer them. I, the Elohim of Yashrael, do not forsake them. And it says 18, I open rivers on bare hills and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I make a wilderness become a pool of water, and a dry land springs of water. So what is he talking about there? He's talking about his providence. He'll provide for you no matter what you're going through. Stand your ground, stand in faith, and he will provide for you. He's done it for me many times. It took me a while to learn that, but he did it every time. He will do the same for you, no matter what you go through. It says in 19, I set in the wilderness cedar, shatath and myrtle and oil tree. I place in the desert cypress, pine, and box tree together. so that they see, know, and consider and understand together that the hand of Yahuah has done this, and the set apart one of Yashrael has created it. Okay, that's Isaiah 41, 8 through 20. In other words, stand your ground, stay faithful, and he will provide for you no matter what you go through. All right, so those are the first three. I got three more. Let's go to James 1. A second here. All right, guys. That is Yakov. We're going to go from 1 through 21. Or I'm sorry, 2 through 27. James 1, 2 through 27. Which is pretty much almost the whole thing, so we'll go on that one. It says, my brothers, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. Okay, now we're getting into the trial part of it. He says, knowing that the proving of your belief works endurance. Your faith works endurance, in other words. And let endurance have a perfect work, so that you be perfect and complete, lacking naught or nothing. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask Elohim, who gives to all generously without reproach, and it shall be given to him. If you want that wisdom, you ask him, and he will give it to you graciously. He'll give it to you with all his heart, because you're asking for wisdom. You're not asking for material things. You're asking for wisdom. So that's the key point there. And he says, but he should ask in belief or in faith, not doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. I've described this before. When you doubt, you're like the sea crashing down and things like that. It describes it in there because you're doubting. He will not give it to you if you doubt. He said, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. For that man should not think that he shall receive whatever from the master. When you doubt, he will not give it to you. You have to ask in faith. You have to believe in faith that you will receive it. Okay? Okay, so let's go. It says, for the man should not think that he shall receive whatever from the master. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. An undouble-minded person is someone who will say one thing and do the complete opposite. Okay, that's what it's talking about. So that makes you double-minded. And you're going to be unstable in all the things you do. It says, and let the lowly brother boast in his ostentation, but the rich in his humiliation, because as a flower of the field he shall pass away. For the sun rose with burning heat, and wither, and the grass and its flower fell, and its pretty appearance perish. So also the rich man shall fade away in his ways. Now 12. Okay, let's go to 12. Blessed is the man who does endure through trial. Okay, what does that mean? It means you endure till the trial end. You endure and be in content with your trial because he's there. He's always going to be there. You're not alone, as I said. He's always going to be there to get you through it. It's the matter of fact of whether you have the faith to get through it. He's testing your faith. Every time we go through a trial, he's testing our faith or our belief. Okay, that's exactly what he's doing. But he says you'll be blessed when you get through it. Okay. It says, for when he has been proved, he shall receive what? The crown of life, which the master has promised to those who love him. You will receive a crown of life. Okay, every time you go through a trial. Okay, and like I said before, what can man do the worst to you? They take your life, okay. You will receive a crown of life for enduring it. You receive a crown of life for going through the trial. You receive a crown of life for your obedience. You receive a crown of life for the steps you take in faith. All that goes together. It comes together. Okay, let's continue in 13. Let no one say when he's enticed, I am enticed by Elohim. What does that mean? You're not tempted by Yahuah. He doesn't tempt anyone or anything like that. He will not tempt you in anything. For Elohim is not enticed by evil matters, and he entices no one, it says here. Okay? He doesn't tempt you at all. Sin is what tempts you. Okay? Hasatan will tempt you just like he did Yahushua in the desert. He's the one that tempts you, not Yahuah. Okay. It says, but each one is enticed when he is drawn away by his own desires and trapped. Again, if you have a desire that's attracting to you, of course, Hasatan's going to do that. Like he did, again, with Yahushua in the desert. He's going to tempt you with all these things that are attracting. Okay? That leads to sin, according to this. That's what tempts you. Okay, and it says, then, when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. So once you get into that desire, it becomes sin, in other words. And sin, when it has been accomplished, brings forth death. What does the other scripture says? Wages of sin is death, right? That's exactly what it's talking about. All right. It says, do not go astray, my beloved brothers. Don't let no one lead you astray. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change, no shadow of turning. Having proposed it, he brought us forth by the word of truth for us to be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. So then, my beloved brothers, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man does not work the righteousness of Elohim. It's not part of you. You're a part of Elohim. So be slow to anger. Be slow to speak and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man does not work with the righteousness of Elohim. It doesn't. Therefore, put away all filthiness and overflow of evil, and receive with meekness the implanted word which is able to save your lives. According to what he's saying, it will save your life. And then in 22 it says, and become, here's a key point, become doers of the word. And not, it says here, become doers of the words and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. If you're going to be doing something of the word, do it. Don't just say it. Then that doesn't make you anything. Okay? Just makes you a liar that you're going to say, I'm going to do this, and then don't do it. That's why I encourage everybody to do whatever you're called to do. If you're going to do something he's called you to do, go do it. Okay? And it doesn't mean you have to go to another country to go do your work. It could be somewhere in your neighborhood. It could be somewhere in your city. It could be somewhere in your state. Okay? What I'm saying is make sure, again, you have 100% confirmation from Yahuah that he wants you to send you to this place or do this or that or whatever before you go out, because you don't want to be in another Egypt. Okay? And it says here in 23, because if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks at his natural face in the mirror. For he looks at himself and goes away and immediately forgets what he was like. So what is that talking about? You're supposed to go out and do something, but then you don't do it. You forget about it. You put it in the back burner, in other words. That's being only a hearer of the word, not a doer. So let's keep going. All right. Let's go to 25. But he that looked in the perfect Torah, that of freedom, and continues in it, not becoming a hearer of that, forgets, but a doer of work, this one shall be blessed in his doing of the Torah. You will be blessed once you are a doer of the word. Okay? You're not supposed to just, again, hear it, you go out and do it. You'll be blessed for it. Because why? Obedience equals blessing, as I've always said. You're obedient, that equals a blessing for you. Okay, let's continue. It says, if anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is worthless. Okay, so let's read it again. If anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is worthless. If you're going to go do something that you believe in and you don't do it, then it's worthless. There's no sense in doing it. And it says here, clean and undefiled religion before Elohim and Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself abstained from the world. I'll read it again. Clean and undefiled religion before Elohim and Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. So we don't want to be part of the world. In other words, we don't want to be part of anything that they have to offer at all. So what does it mean by visiting orphans and widows? You can go visit people, exactly what it means. There's things out there that people need encouraging with. There's people who are homeless, people who are, again, orphans, people who are in hospitals, people who are in all that. We need to bring the word to them and not worry what the world thinks about it. That's exactly what we're talking about. Okay, so I got two more. All right. So the next one is 1 John 5. All right, so let's go to Yochanan Aleph. I believe it's chapter 5. And I believe it's the whole thing. So let's go to the whole thing here. All right, so we're going to go to 21 through 21 on 1 John 5. Okay? So let's go there. And it says, everyone who believes that Yahushua is Messiah has been born of Elohim. And everyone who loves the one of bringing forth also loves the one having been born of him. What does that mean? It means and everyone who believes, he says, a key word, everyone who believes that Yahushua is the Messiah has been born of Elohim. That includes anybody from any nation. Okay, any one of you who believes that he is the Son, excuse me, who's the Mashiach and has been born, is born of him. And everyone who loves the one bringing forth also loves the one having been born of him. Let's go to 2. By this we know that we love the children of Elohim. We love Elohim and guard his commands. If you love him that much, you will guard his commands. He says that. If you love me, keep my commandments, right? That's how you know you're a child of him. And that he loves us because we are his children. It says, then let's go to 3. For this is the love of Elohim, that we guard his commands, and his commands are not heavy. That's how he knows we love him. Because we guard his commands. We do our best to be obedient. We do our best to do that, and they're not really that burdensome. They're not heavy at all. He says, because everyone having been born of Elohim overcomes the world. We are overcomers. We're not underachievers. He says, and in this is the overcoming that has overcome the world. Our belief, our faith. Our faith in him has overcome the world. Because we are children of the greatest Elohim, or Yahuah. Okay, and it says here, who is the one who overcomes the world but he who believes that Yahushua is the Son of Elohim? I'll read it again. Who is the one who overcomes the world but he who believes that Yahushua is the Son of Elohim? If you believe he is the Son of Yahuah, you have overcome the world. He's given you the authority to that. Okay, we know he's overcome the world through death and all that with his, with his crucifixion on the stake. We know that, but we're talking about our belief in him. We can overcome the world with our belief in him, is what it's saying. It says, this is the one that came by water and blood, Yahushua Messiah, not by water, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit who bears witness, because the Spirit is the truth. Because there are 3 who bear witness, the Spirit, the water, and the blood. And the 3 are in agreement. Okay? Let's go to 9. It says, if we receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohim is greater, because this is the witness of Elohim which he has witnessed concerning his Son. The one who believes in the Son of Elohim has the witness in himself. I'll read it again. The one who believes in the Son of Elohim has the witness in himself. The one who does not believe Elohim has made him a liar. You understand? I'll read it again. The one who does not believe Elohim has made him a liar, because he has not believed the witness that Elohim has given concerning his Son. And this is the witness, that Elohim has given us everlasting life, and this life is in his Son. Everlasting life is in his Son, Yahushua. Okay? That's how we know that this is the witness. He says, he who possesses the Son possesses life. He who does not possess the Son of Elohim does not possess life. I have written this to you who believe in the name of the Son of Elohim, so that you know that you possess everlasting life. In other words, there's everlasting life in his Son. Okay? It says, so that you know. Let me read that again. I have written this to you who believe in the name of the Son of Elohim, so that you know that you possess everlasting life, so that you believe in the name of the Son of Elohim. And it says, verse 14, and this is the boldness that we have in him, that if we ask whatever according to his desire, he hears us. He will hear you if you ask in his name, for whatever that is. He will hear you, because he hears us. But we have to have the boldness of that, okay, that we stand our ground in boldness. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we have asked of him. If anyone sees his brother sinning a sin, not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for those not sinning unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say that he should pray about that. All unrighteousness is sin. It's true, all unrighteousness is sin, and there is not a sin not unto death. And we know that the Son of Elohim has come and has given us understanding, so that we might know the true one. And we are in the true one, his Son, Yahushua, Messiah. This is the true Elohim and everlasting life. And then the last thing he tells us is, little children, keep yourselves from idols. In other words, we need to worship Yahushua only. He is the one that's everlasting life for us. We need to stand firm in belief in that. There are times where we are struggling so bad, we forget that. Sometimes we don't remember that, hey, we're not alone. Because I know some of you feel alone out there, thinking, well, and it's supposed to be kind of like that. Our walk is the narrow path is supposed to kind of be alone in a way, but you're really not. You have him. That's why he says also to keep away from idols, because sometimes people will turn into other mighty ones instead of focusing on him. Okay? All right, so I have one more. We're going to 2 Thessalonians. Okay? Or is that, okay, 2 Thessalonians. We're going to go to chapter 3. And looks like the whole thing. Okay, so we're going to go through the whole thing. All right, so it says here, for the rest, brothers, pray for us so that the word of Yahuah spreads rapidly and be praised also with you, and that we might be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, for not all have belief. Not all of them have faith. A lot of people don't have faith. And it says, but the master is trustworthy, who shall establish you and guard you from the wicked one. Yes, he will. He will establish us, okay, and guard us. It says, and we trust in the master as you both, that you do and you shall do what we command you. And the master directed your hearts into love of Elohim and into endurance for Messiah. But we command you, brothers, in the name of our master Yahushua Messiah, that you withdraw from every brother who walks disorderly and not according to the tradition which you receive from us. So in other words, what is that saying? It's saying we stay away from other people who don't follow Yahuah, or those who follow other doctrines, or those who follow things that have nothing to do with the Torah or any scripture. or any type of anything that's, if anything's of the world, then it's not of Yahuah. So he's saying us here to stay away from those type of brother, those type of people, and there's plenty out there. Some do the Messianic Jewish doctrine. Then there's some that do other doctrines. There's some that do Christianity, Catholicism, Mormonism. I mean, all of that other stuff we need to stay away from. It says, for you yourselves, verse 7, it says, for you yourselves know how you ought to imitate us, for we were not disorderly among you, nor did we eat anyone's bread without paying for it, but worked with labor and toil night and day in order not to burden any of you, not because we do not have authority, but to make ourselves an example for you to imitate us. For even when we were with you, we commanded you this: if anyone does not wish to work, neither let him eat. Plain and simple. It says, for we hear of some among you walking disorderly, not working at all, but are busybodies. But we command you and urge such through our Master Yahushua Messiah to settle down, work, and eat their own bread. And you, brothers, do not grow weary in doing good. And if anyone does not obey our word in this letter, note that one, and do not keep company with him, so that he is put to shame. However, do not regard him as an enemy, but admonish him as a brother. Okay. And it says here, and the Master of peace himself give you peace always in every way. The Master be with you all. The greeting of Shaul with my own hand, which is his sign in every letter. Thus I write, the favor of our Master Yahushua Messiah be with you all. So, okay. So that was 2 Thessalonians 3, 1 through 18. Okay, guys, that's all I have for scriptures today. I just wanted to come on here and do this reading real quick and this message. Again, I'm in my son's room, so that's why it looks different. I'm not in my car anymore because the phone gets too hot in there, so I thought I'd try out in here, but it looks like it held on pretty well. If there was any type of pixeling or anything like that, please let me know. And then I'll fix it. But I just wanted to come on here and do this real quick because I know a lot of us are going through trials. A lot of us are going through rough times. A lot of us are going through loneliness, different types of things like that. I just wanted to pick you up and go ahead and encourage you guys some more with this. Again, stand your ground, stay faithful in your walk with him. Again, remember, you're not alone. You're never alone. It may feel that way. Sometimes I feel that way, but again, you're not. He's always with us. I just read there earlier. He'll help you. He's always going to be there to guide you. He's going to be there to help you get through your trials. You just got to remember that through faith, because he said the righteous shall live by faith or belief. And that's what we need to do. We need to continue being that way and get our mindset in that way, and not to worry about anything else that people want to try to distract you from. As I keep saying, I stay away from all the worldly things, because we want to focus on him. And that's why I read this stuff to you guys today, because we want to focus on him 100%. And that's why I did the last video about submitting to him 100%. When you have submission and total dependency on him, then you stay more focused on him. Because a lot of people, again, are sending me stuff, and I know people want to talk about all that's going on in the world. Well, the world is I don't care. The world is not doesn't bring salvation. The world does not bring salvation, only he does. And that's what we need to stay focused on, because I know a lot of us are going through rough times right now. And I think we need to lift each other up, and that's another thing that I remember reading in there. We need to encourage one another. We need to build each other up. We need to continue to be there for one another. Even though if we're different states, we can always go ahead and encourage one another through different types of social media. There's internet, there's connections, things like that. So I would try to go one of those routes to stay connected with people, But anyway, that's what I wanted to bring today. I hope it was encouraging. I hope it was information, and reminding you that he's always with you and to stand your ground, and to make sure that you're always following him, okay? And not just be around man and letting man take over, okay? But anyway, I just wanted to come on here. I hope you guys are having a great afternoon. I hope that he brings you many Baruch stuff and things like that. And if you guys need prayer, I'll be happy to pray for you. Just let me know on Messenger, and we'll go from there. All right, well, you guys take care, all right? And you guys have a good day. All right, shalom.